Good evening, Garage Gang. It's Wednesday night. The concrete's still warm, the screens are still glowing, and the market's been acting like a drunk blackjack dealer flicking cards at God. And here you are, back in the bay, under these sodium lights, with your boy Avatar John behind the mic, the only anchorman who'd pour a protein shake on a bearish chart and call it art. Because tonight, the tape didn't move, it convulsed. And every asset class from crypto to AI to bonds got slapped, kissed, revived, slapped again, and dumped back onto the table like a casino fight nobody wanted to break up. Here's the lightning round of what hit the wire. Nvidia detonated earnings, $57 billion quarter, $65 billion guidance, tech worshipping at their altar. Bitcoin got dragged under $90,000 in a liquidation bloodbath. BlackRock lined up a staked ETH trust like they've already decided the future. Forex launched its first spot ETF on Nasdaq. Forex, Zcash ripped during a red market like it got possessed by 2017. Kraken filed its US IPO S1 like, yeah, we're next. Fed cut odds collapsed, bond markets cried in the corner. Trump talked Bitcoin dominance while the macro world shook. And AI went nuclear. Gemini 3, Grok 4.1, Agentic OS, all in one damn news cycle. And now everyone's asking the same thing. Is this the bounce or the setup before the trapdoor opens again? But that's why you're here. You don't come to the garage for bedtime stories. You don't come here to cope. You come here because you want the plays, the truth, the heat, and whatever madness Triple X dragged out of the trenches tonight. Because the man said he's got picks. He said he found gold. And with the way today moved, I believe him. So smash that like, hit follow, call your cousin who still thinks Doge is coming back. Tell him the garage is open, the bay is hot, and Avatar John is about to walk you through the wreckage with style. Strap in.
Let's get straight to the road temperature. Because the asphalt tonight isn't warm, it's smoking. Bitcoin, yeah, it dipped under 90K. Not because the world ended, not because the halving failed, but because IBIT puked $523 million in a single day. The biggest outflow in ETF history. Retail tapped out. Instinct traders got liquidated. Paper Bitcoin got torched. But you know what didn't flinch? Whales. Sovereign wallets. Old money cold storage. While mom and pop sold the bottom again, someone bought that entire move like they were grocery shopping. Ethereum. Price looks like it smoked a whole pack of cigarettes and tried to jog a mile. But BlackRock didn't care. They filed a staked ETH trust anyway. Institutions saying one thing. We're not done. We're prepping the long game. Solana. The one chain that refuses to die. ETF inflows. DEX volume blowing through ceilings. TVL ripping. Meme coin ecosystem, printing degeneracy like a government printing fiat. Stocks. Half the market said, we good. The other half screamed, we're dying. Target down 21%, lows up 3%, TJX quietly stealing America's wallet. It's a split personality economy. Homeowners thriving, middle class drowning, and the rich buying dips on chips and AI like the future's already decided. Bonds, 20-year auction failed. Dealers were forced to buy because nobody else wanted that trash. That's not market nuance. That's macro warning sirens. Dollar, back on the rise. Good for America, bad for everyone else. This is not a calm market. It's a pressure cooker. And pressure is opportunity if you know where the cracks form. Let's talk headlines, not the fluff, not the noise, not the surface level chatter that fills news feeds. I'm talking about the moves that actually shift the ground under your feet. The events that change the board while everyone else is still arguing about pieces. Tonight wasn't randomness. Tonight was geometry. Everything connected. Everything feeding into everything else. Nvidia didn't just report earnings. They set the world on fire. 57 billion in one quarter, 65 billion guide. Numbers so huge they look fake until you realize they're real, and the entire global financial system just had to update its mental model. But here's the real story. When Nvidia explodes like that, it doesn't just pump tech, It pumps AI, it pumps compute, and that pressure pushes straight into crypto because AI needs speed. Speed needs bandwidth. Bandwidth needs distributed rails. Distributed rails are blockchains. Nvidia's earnings weren't a tech event, they were a liquidity ignition that dragged the whole AI crypto timeline forward 6 months in one explosion. Meanwhile, Bitcoin didn't just dip, it got thrown off a balcony and landed at 88,400. That was the moment everyone's phone lit up like a casino slot machine. Alerts, warnings, margin calls, panic texts. People staring at charts in grocery store lines, dashboards lighting up in Ubers, dudes pacing in their driveways like their house was on fire. But while retail was panicking, something else was happening under the floorboards. Clark Kent's desk intel caught it. Superman's real-time sweep caught it. Whales were buying, not dumping, buying. Price down, accumulation up. That's not fear, that's opportunistic predation. That was the strong scooping up the weak. The whole move wasn't a collapse, it was a handoff. And then, right in the middle of this chaos, BlackRock strolls in like the only sober adult at a frat party and files a staked Ethereum trust. You don't do that when you're unsure. You do that when you see the future being built in front of you. AI needs settlement. Settlement needs yield. Yield lives on ETH. This isn't a product. It's a bridge, a pipeline from trillion-dollar capital pools directly into the financial backbone of the AI economy. ETH's price looks tired today. But structurally, Ethereum is preparing for the biggest evolution in its entire existence. Price moves last. Infrastructure moves first. XRP came out of the lawsuit graveyard like it had been sitting backstage for years, waiting for its cue, and walked straight onto Nasdaq with a spot ETF. People can meme XRP all day, but here's the adult truth. An ETF means liquidity. Liquidity moves narratives. Narratives move capital. And in a world where money moves faster than truth, narrative is everything. XRP didn't get lucky today. It got legitimized. Zcash waking up in the middle of a market drawdown was the jump scare moment of the entire afternoon. Everything else read, ZEC suddenly alive. And when you look closer, it wasn't traders doing it. It was a treasury. A corporate treasury adding exposure to a privacy coin on a red day. That's not gambling. That's a statement. AI without privacy is surveillance. Somebody out there is preparing for that future. That move wasn't hype, it was a signal flare. Kraken dropping a confidential S1 right now is the wildest flex of the month. The bond market is in a panic attack. Yields are spiking. Half of Wall Street looks like they're about to start chewing their tie off. And Kraken calmly says, yeah, let's go public. You only file an IPO into weakness if you're planning for a monster cycle ahead. They're not building for now. They're building for what's coming next. They're laying pipes before the flood. And then Trump, never one to whisper when he can shout, walks into the narrative like a wrecking ball and says America is going to dominate Bitcoin. Not participate, not support, dominate. Doesn't matter if you love him, hate him, mute him, or meme him. Markets don't care about feelings. They care about conviction. And when a former president frames Bitcoin as a national strategic asset, every major institution hears the same message. Bitcoin isn't a toy. It's a resource, a competitive weapon, a piece of geopolitical infrastructure. Energy companies hear it. Miners hear it. AI companies tied to compute hear it. Central banks definitely hear it. And now here's the truth the average viewer never puts together. None of these events stand alone. Nvidia's blowout forces AI expansion. AI expansion creates compute shortages. Compute shortages push developers into decentralized networks. Decentralized networks need yield and throughput. Yield boosts ETH. Throughput boosts Solana. Routing boosts XRP. Privacy boosts ZEC. The Bitcoin crash flushes out weak hands, and sovereign accumulation fills the vacuum. Exchanges prepare for the cycle. Policy pivots. Liquidity rotates. Macro cracks open. Everything feeds into everything. Put it together, and what you see isn't chaos. It's blueprint, architecture, the scaffolding of the next liquidity era being welded together in real time. People think the AI crypto supercycle is something we're waiting for. They don't realize we're already standing in the doorway of it. And the craziest part of the day, the tech war wasn't just loud, it was biblical. AI wasn't a storyline running in the background. It was the main plot, the subplot, the meta plot, and the sequel all happening at once. If you looked away for more than 5 minutes today, you missed a year of progress. That's how fast this thing is moving. Google kicked the door open with Gemini 3, a model so powerful it makes the old ones feel like Play-Doh calculators. This thing reasons, analyzes, creates visuals, interprets logic, explains itself, breaks down complex chains step by step. Not a tool, a force. The kind of model that can replace entire departments, workflows, and business functions while never breaking a sweat. The average person still thinks AI is for school essays, and meanwhile, this thing could manage a Fortune 500 if you let it. Then XAI slides in with Grok 4.1, and here's where the normal guy truly misses the plot. XAI isn't trying to beat Google at raw power. They're building personality, consistency, a digital coworker that feels alive enough to trust with real tasks. That's not customer service. That's autonomy. You're watching the birth of agents who won't just answer prompts. They'll make decisions. They'll take initiative. They'll run processes on your behalf. But let's break this down clearly. XAI isn't just a model. Elon is building an empire, a vertical AI stack, one organism with 3 organs. XAI is the brain. X is the sensory system, the eyes and ears of the public square. Optimus is the body, the physical executor of digital intelligence. Put them together and you get an AI-powered worker class. Not theory, not hype, reality. Grok learns your patterns. X feeds it live data. Optimus executes physical labor. A complete loop of perception, intelligence, action. That's not an AI tool. That's an AI civilization. And Optimus, look past the memes. This robot is deadly serious. It's already sorting items, walking smoothly, gripping objects with human-like control. You give it 2 more versions and it's replacing warehouse labor. 5 more versions and it's replacing half the jobs in logistics and manufacturing. 10, entire industries flip upside down. Jobs we thought were safe, gone. Jobs we thought were skilled, gone. Jobs we thought machines couldn't touch, gone. And while all this is happening at ground level, Microsoft comes swinging in with the Agentic OS announcement. They didn't update Windows. They repositioned it, rewired it, turned the world's most used operating system into a platform of AI agents that work for you, not with you. Agents built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, the entire suite, quietly automating your life while you sleep. A personal team of tireless assistants living inside your computer. That means one person with AI is now the productivity equivalent of 5, maybe 10 people without it. Companies will hire the person with AI, not the group trying to keep up. But the wildest moment, Japan's simulating the Milky Way with AI. Not a chunk of it, not a slice, not a model of a model. The whole thing. Over 100 billion stars, supernova shockwaves, cosmic physics so complicated that it used to take decades to compute. They trained an AI to predict the outcomes instead of manually calculating every atomic interaction. 100 times faster. Decades turned into months. Think about what that means if you're not a scientist. If AI can simulate galaxies, it can simulate economies. If it can simulate explosions, it can simulate climate. If it can predict star systems, it can predict engineered materials, fusion, medicine, markets, anything. Whole industries are going to leap forward like they've been strapped to rockets. Entire nations will rise or fall based on whether they embrace this or fight it. And while that's happening, Mozilla quietly says, hey, how about privacy? And drops AI window, AI inside Firefox. On device, fast, private. A browsing experience where AI summarizes, organizes, writes, and automates without exposing your life to cloud servers. It's not flashy, but it's foundational. It's the beginning of a world where AI isn't an app you open. It's the environment you live inside. This is the part the normal guy needs to understand because the suits won't break it down and the headlines won't tell you the truth. AI isn't coming. AI is here. AI is taking jobs. AI is making fortunes. AI is rearranging society. Some people are becoming millionaires right now, using AI as leverage, doubling their output, launching businesses, building tools, automating operations. Others are getting replaced, not because they're dumb, not because they're lazy, but because they're moving at human speed in a world that now moves at machine speed. And here's the hard truth, delivered with love but no mercy. If you're not learning AI, if you're not experimenting, if you're not building, if you're not adapting, you are going to get left behind. Not maybe, not later, not someday, now. You can ride this wave or you can drown under it. But the wave isn't slowing down. Start learning, start building, start writing, stop watching, because the future isn't coming. The future is already here. And the people moving with AI aren't just winning, they're outpacing the entire world. And now we shift scenes. Vegas lights bleeding into the sky, the strip humming like a neon heartbeat, and Triple X isn't down in the trenches tonight. No cheap floors, no sad carpets, no circus degeneracy. He checked into Resorts World, the red velvet floor where the money smells different. He's in a high-rise suite with a panoramic view that looks like a motherboard lit by God. 3 screens glowing in front of him, 1 tablet, 1 whiskey, 1 mission. And tonight, he brought something special. Axiom. Not the hype tool of the week, not some guru-paid nonsense. The real deal. The sniper scope. The filter that turns the noise into signal. Screen 1 is Deck Screener. Sorted, filtered, sharpened. Screen 2 is Axiom. Pattern recognition, liquidity analysis, volume anomalies. Screen 3 is Solana Wallet Intel, the heartbeat beneath the chart. He loads exactly 50 SOL into the wallet. Not 51, not 100, just 50, because Triple X doesn't bluff, bankrolls. He doesn't chase. He doesn't revenge trade. He risks what he's willing to lose, and he respects that number like a man respects a loaded gun. He leans in, cracks his neck. 3 screens blink alive, and the zombies begin to crawl out of the data. These aren't sewer zombies. These aren't rugs wearing funny hats. These are Resorts World zombies, the premium undead. GigaChad hits the screen first. Axiom flags the liquidity instantly, millions deep. Deck Screener confirms the volume, heavy, real, not spoofed. The chart? A year-old veteran scarred from battle, still refusing to stay dead. Next screen flips the tensor. TNSR down 96% from its all-time high, but Axiom lights up like a Christmas tree. Volume alive. Holders steady. Pulse strong. Deck Screener shows the same truth. This one isn't dead. It's bruised, pissed off, and pacing. Then 67 coin comes up. A meme child, yes, but a disciplined one. Whale clusters forming patterns Axiom can read. Volume spikes Deck Screener can't ignore. It's chaos, but it's controlled chaos. The kind that rewards predators. Triple X studies all 3. Not with greed, not with fear. With clarity. This is it, he says. These free got hit by trucks, but they got back up. And any token that gets back up after a wreck deserves respect. He makes his moves. Small entries, calculated sizing, no ego, no tilt. And by the time he's done, those 50 SOL have walked their way up to 75 SOL. He doesn't celebrate with fireworks. He doesn't chase another entry. He doesn't try to double it. He closes the wallet, puts the tablet down, walks downstairs, orders the ribeye and the lobster, eats like a man who earned peace. And at sunrise, he's in the gym at Resorts World, sweating the night out, because victory tastes better when your discipline didn't break. That's the difference between the amateurs and the monster sitting in that suite tonight. He's not just trading, goose hunting. He's reading the dead, and he's using Axiom and Deck Screener like weapons not wishes. All right, Garage. Lulu's been pacing around the charts all day, and she finally has something to say. This morning, she walked in acting like a pig wearing a bear suit. Grumpy, irritated, didn't trust a single move on any screen. Bitcoin looked shaky, ETH looked bored, Solana looked tired. Nothing looked worth touching. But right after 1 o'clock, everything shifted. The candle started moving different, and that pig parked up like someone dropped fresh carrots on the floor. I swear she grew little bullish horns and started tiptoeing across the concrete like she smelled opportunity in the air. On the fast charts, the tiny 1-minute stuff, Bitcoin finally stopped sinking. It started climbing in steady little steps. Not fireworks, not explosions, just controlled strength. That's what Lulu waits for. She doesn't chase hype. She waits for the moment the market stops lying. She took a small entry, watched BTC climb up toward 92,000, grabbed her win, and got out before it cooled down again. Clean, professional, no drama. Solana is where the pig made her money today. Before 1 o'clock, SOL was warming up. After 1, it turned electric. Strong candles, no hesitation, heavy buying. She hopped in when SOL pushed past about 138, rode it up through the 142 area, and took profit like a sniper. No greed, no chasing. She looked at the chart and squealed, "That's enough carrots for today." Ethereum finally woke up later in the session with a slow, steady climb. And ADA tried its best. So we're rounding this for the normal humans. Around 45 cents is where ADA starts looking alive. Around 44 cents is where it starts losing strength again. Lulu said it's improving, but she's not putting her carrot bucket on it. On the slightly slower 3-minute charts, everything looked cleaner. Bitcoin was climbing with purpose. Solana was the clear standout. ETH steady. ADA behaving. Lulu liked it, but she didn't call anything safe. On the 1-hour charts, she slowed down and gave the truth. Bitcoin is climbing, yes, but it's still in recovery mode. Don't confuse a bounce with a bull run. If it can break back above 96,000, the tone changes. But if BTC falls under 90 again, Lulu said it can slip right back into the high 80s and scare the whole market one more time. Solana looks strong if it stays above that 137 to 140 zone. Lose that, and it drops fast toward 130. ETH still needs to break above the mid-3,000 area to get its swagger back. And ADA, well, it's doing its best. On the daily charts, Lulu wrapped it up with the big picture truth. We're improving, yes, but we're not out of the woods yet. Bitcoin is trying to build a bottom. But until it gets back into the 96 to 100,000 zone, we're still in the fog. Solana looks promising if it holds its floor. ETH has work to do. ADA is trying. So here's Lulu's final word. Stay above the good levels, avoid the bad ones, and don't get cocky just because today felt better than yesterday. And for the new people in the garage, none of this is financial advice. Lulu is the head of TA here, but she is literally a pig. She has 4 hooves, a curly tail, a pink snoot, and a strange obsession with charts and carrots. Do not take financial advice from livestock. That's the Lulu read. Check out the website, gurucryptogarage.guru. It's free, our way of giving back to the community. Smash the like, hit follow, and remember,